Welcome to a very special episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. As you can see, you got me, you got Benjamin, and we have Drew. This week's episode is a Hot Ones edition, sponsored by Drew. Drew, thank you for cooking up some wings.
Drew's putting some effort here, boys.
Putting some good effort on this.
These guys are really going to hate me after this. I gave them a couple of easy ones.
I can already smell it.
I think you guys will be happy with the end result. I did not phone it in and just give them easy ones.
I know some of the sauces that Drew has used, and it's already going to be a problem.
I see in your face earlier on, like doing a little taste test. It's like, all right, I kind of know what to expect. So this week's episode, we're going to do things a little bit different in order. We're going to actually do power rankings with Drew first. Usually it's me and Ben doing worst team, best team. Drew gets the honors this week. And then we are going to go directly into weekly matchups. We're going to get that done and out of the way. Once that is done, we're going to get into the Hot Ones portion of the episode.
The fun begins.
The fun will begin there. With what we'll do, Drew will be asking Ben and I the same question for 3 of the wings. Really, I guess we have 6 questions.
There might be a bonus wing in there.
Yeah,
we'll figure that out. But he will ask us a question, and then, or as he's asking us the question, we'll start eating. What'd you do?
I licked my finger.
On which one?
One of the middle ones.
And then you...
That's just a preview.
Sorry,
of what's going to happen.
This video's not for children, Josh. just throwing that out there.
Full disclosure, boys. I don't know what's going on, but things have been hotter than they normally have for the past week or so. Like, my taste buds right now are like, oh, that's hot. No, we're talking like salsa from the Mexican restaurants is hot right now.
Oh, jeez.
You're not prepared for this episode.
I am not.
I will.
But
say,
I'm doing this for you.
If you're in pain and I need to get up, I will dart so you can head outside. Just don't break your screen door.
This is gonna be great.
I'm the milk guy. I'll grab milk if you need it.
We might just need you to have that on hand right here before we get going. But,
That being said, the one I touched, there's a little sweet tangy to it.
so if you need to move it up,
Don't ruin the suspense.
Can't ruin the suspense.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So
I need a drink.
But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Drew,
Yes.
right now in the league, let me pull this up so that way I am saying this right. You are ranked 3rd.
Correct. Happy to be there.
Is after the stuff with CMC, were you expecting to be in 3rd right now?
Absolutely not.
So
But I got lucky with a good trade that I think was a fair trade, and it's kept me in the game.
it was. There's some people that was thinking that AJ and Tommy could have got more out of that trade. From
Most definitely. However, the downside for that trade for me is in the event that CMC does come back, Mason becomes useless for me.
Yep.
If he came back and I still had Brian Robinson, then I would have a dual threat there on top of my existing roster. So I did give up something for something right now. I was confident in him, and I think it's paid off.
So far, yeah. I would say so.
I would agree. Do you think Christian McCaffrey's going to be back this year?
In a do or die situation, if it's playoffs, and as far as fantasy is concerned, I don't know the exact week, but fantasy ends when real football starts taking over.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I think that if he's healthy, they may use him in a do or die situation. Beyond that, I'm worried for his career, to be honest.
Oh, I would say I am too, and I think with the 49ers as a whole right now, then they just lost IU. They're struggling. They might be in a spot where we don't need you back this year because it's already a wash. So I could see that for the 49ers as well. So, but yeah, Drew, you're in 3rd. I will say I'm actually surprised you're there with how your season started. Who would you say in the league has the best team? It could be the obvious one. We've consistently been saying Clark over the weeks, but who would you say is the best team?
It's hard to say. Points don't lie. Points accumulated, it's there. but I am absolutely terrified for my matchup with Mike. I have to lean to Mike. Something about his team just scares me. They have huge upsides, and that's what I'm worried about. The boom or bust. I have to go with Mike. I think he's a real contender for the championship.
I agree.
He is. We don't want him to win, though.
Nope.
Looking at the top 6, only 2 have had a championship. So
League reset is just looming in our faces.
Yep. Who'd you say has the worst team right now? We have 3 teams tied at 2 and 5. It's Orscheln, Sam Downs, welcome to the league once again, and Ryan and Mark.
Hi, Sam.
Well, I want to open with, hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Really happy you're here. And I'm also not going to put you at last place because your team under new management might actually have a chance to at least become a middleman in the league. So, Sam, I'm not going to pick you.
Because there's a more obvious answer.
Orscheln is the whipping boy for me.
Bravo.
I have to go with it. You love to see someone go from being on top to the bottom of the barrel.
It's true.
Just like watching the Patriots and Tom Brady just crumble, and now it's just a ruin of New England right now. I love it, and that's how I see Orscheln.
You know, I kind of think of, you remember that South Park episode where Cartman kills that guy's parents and then puts them in chili?
Sweet, salty tears.
Tears. That is us with Orscheln right now.
Jeez.
Just sitting there like, Orscheln,
Yes.
tell us more about how your team
Your
sucks.
parent chili, yes.
That's messed up.
I love it. So, speaking of Orscheln, we're going to go right into the matchups.
Oh,
Excellent.
Since there's 3 of us, we need to be fairly quick with these matchup breakdowns. We're going to start with Andrew's matchup against Rob and I. So, Drew, we're going to start with you. You break this down however which way you want. If you want to be straight to the point as to, yeah, you're going to lose and you're going to win, you are free to do that. You've seen how Ben and I break these down, so you go about it your approach and give us your thoughts. Who's winning this matchup?
Considering I just said Orscheln is basically, it's a dumpster fire. I don't understand this. You have recognizable names that don't do anything. Packers suck. I don't care what their record is. And if you want to be a Packers fan, by all means. I have Mitch and Rob by a mile on this one. Based on the projections, I see currently 95 to 105. I think Mitch and Rob win by 20 on this matchup.
I'll take that.
I'll go ahead and second it because he's got a great point. Andrew's starting 4 players from the Packers right now. So you're living and dying based on the Packers, which, I'll give you some props for standing by your team. I've done that for years, man. But I just don't like the pieces. Andrew, really, I don't know, man. You probably just need to start preparing for that inevitable punishment. So maybe a better rap this time around.
Just to tag on to that, because I didn't see the actual count. 4 players. Now, mind you, they're playing Jacksonville, which is garbage. At least you're not starting all Jacksonville people. But still, only so many mouths can get fed. There's only so many fantasy points that are going out. Even if the Packers blow them out, I only see you getting a moderate amount of points. You'd be lucky if they hit their projections. It's just not going to happen.
Yep. I can agree.
I'm going to keep it simple. I think it's going to be Rob and I is going to win. I have a hard time, unless you are a juggernaut of a team. I don't care who you're playing against. I have a hard time picking a team in the league that is playing 3 players. You all know I love the Wombo combo. QB, wide receiver. You don't even have the best wide receiver on that team. That's going to be a hit or miss. And then you got Jacobs. Between those 3 players, yeah, you might get 35 points, maybe 40.
Maybe 40.
But unless that game turns into a shootout, which I don't expect it to, I think that is what's really going to hurt you this week. The rest of your team, you're kind of, you could have a big game out of Taylor. I don't think it's going to happen, especially if Richardson's going to play. Worthy, I think that's always a worthy flyer to do. No pun. Njoku, I think that's my favorite player on your team right now. The fact that they lost Amari Cooper, and he's stepping up. He's doing what he needs to. Don't know what that's going to look like with Watson being out, but you'd like to think that they'll use Njoku even more.
I feel like it's probably going to be better.
So,
can you really get worse than Deshaun Watson this year?
You could be his Achilles tendon.
Jeez. It's possible. But I think, Andrew, you're dealing with an injury bug throughout a lot of your team right now. There's question marks. At least as of right now, my starting lineup, I'm ready to rock and roll. There's no injuries. I just think there's a lot more upside for my team than there is yours. So I say you lose. And I say I beat you by more than 10. I don't expect you to score 90 this week.
Wow.
Boom, roasted.
Aggressive.
All right. Let's transition to Little Josh and AJ. Ben, start this one off.
Oh, this is going to be so great. I love looking at projections, and it's already projected to be super close. Now, here's my thing. Josh still struggling to figure out this quarterback situation. He's playing Kirk Cousins this weekend. Could be good. Could be bad. Realistically, you're going against Tampa Bay, which prior to this past weekend, I would have told you Tampa Bay is going to walk all over Atlanta. But seeing as I no longer think Baker Mayfield has living people to throw the ball to.
K-Dot, and
Yeah.
that's about it.
So I don't know what to make out of that. I still like a lot of pieces of Josh's team. DK Metcalf, if he's healthy, is clearly a great receiver. Neighbors, I think he's primed to be one of the next big names.
I would agree.
Kyron Williams, I love the pick. Josh, honestly, I sat there several times this weekend trying to figure out if there's a trade I can make to you to get Kyron Williams that didn't involve Derrick Henry. I don't think it's possible, so I stopped. Still not sold on DeAndre Swift. You have Steve in your corner on that, so take whatever you want with that. And we talked about the Green Bay Packers. It's the mouth to feed question.
Mm-hmm.
Romeo Doubs has been fairly successful in recent weeks, but when I'm breaking it down, I'm going to point to the fact that we've been talking about AJ's team. AJ and Tommy. I'm going to say Tommy. Tommy's team.
Nice to meet you, Tommy. Keep sending me those trades so I can reject them.
Tommy's team. I don't like Dak Prescott, but San Francisco is clearly hurting right now. And, let's look around. You talk about the Wombo combo, Mitch. You got Dak and CeeDee Lamb. I have a feeling that's probably going to be picking up this week. Those two.
Dallas is coming off a bye week. I'll get in my projection soon, but I think that's going to be the key piece on AJ's team this week.
Yeah, and then I really like Brian Robinson against Chicago's D.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to do a very good job. But where I hate AJ's and Tommy's plays right now are the tight end and the flex. I'm not a big fan of Kyle Pitts. I still don't feel like we've seen what we should have from somebody who went that high in a draft. But a Raiders running back to me right now is a terrible play. Take any of them. It's just been garbage.
He has Hopkins on his bench. Do you think that's
what I'm
play
wondering.
this week? Do you think Hopkins would get enough looks?
I think so. I think that you look at what they have, I think you put him in. And there's some plays in the playbook where you don't have to overthink it. There's just some where it's just naturally going to work. Now, you may not have the chemistry built up between the wide receiver and the quarterback, but I think you have to put DeAndre Hopkins in. But even then, looking at this roster, I kind of wonder about maybe Irving or Wan'Dale Robinson. I think all of those are better plays than Alexander Madison in my mind.
I love Wando. He's consistent for target shares.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very high priority target for a quarterback who's still acting unsure of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Wandale puts up solid numbers, very consistent. Even if the Giants suck, Wandale is a fantasy producer. I'm a huge fan of him. And going back to the D-Hop issue, with his injury issues, age, all that, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting him in now. I think, especially the Chiefs got him as a safety net. They have the injuries. They don't need to add on to the injuries. I feel that the Chiefs would take their time to make sure that he's 100% because with his physical presence, he has the stature to be wide receiver 1 for the Chiefs.
You gotta respect him.
Well, then that's the question too: is do you put him out there on the field as a distraction?
Nah,
I don't want to risk furthering injury.
so
You could say he's active,
yeah.
but don't use him.
I think we'll talk more about D-Hop later because out of some of the questions, Ben and I, we do know a few of the questions whenever we get to the wings, and D-Hop is one of them, so we're going to get to that a little bit later. Drew, who do you have winning this matchup?
Well, I believe Ben made a lot of the points that I would have made. I have to go with AJ. I really don't like Kirk Cousins' play. I really feel like at Tampa Bay, yes, they lost some offensive weapons. They've been moderate on defense. It's just that Kirk Cousins is not playing like his best. I believe he's setting a personal record for interceptions so far. He's just not dialed in. I don't know what the deal is, if it's age, if it's transferring. He knows he's got a rookie quarterback ready to take over at a moment's notice. He's one injury away from retirement.
Yep.
And I have no idea if that factors in, but Kirk Cousins is a huge turnoff for me. I just can't go with that. Kyron Williams, if I'm pointing out something good, love Kyron. I'm trying to nail him down in every league I can get. I know running backs typically have a short shelf life.
Yep.
But he's solid production, uncontested running back 1 for the team. Those are my highs and lows for the team. I just like AJ. He's more balanced. I feel his team will put out more consistent numbers.
Yep, I think AJ and Tommy on this one.
So I'm also going to give it to AJ and Tommy, but I think a lot of it is going to ride on Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
The Cowboys are coming off a bye week. They are playing San Fran. I will say if they get whooped this week, then that's, well, if the Cowboys get spanked and they don't perform, AJ and Tommy, you will not be a playoff team this year. I mean, I know, well, I want to be careful because Jaden Daniels has been doing well. So I'm going to redact what I just said. It's just what's unfortunate, CeeDee Lamb should be putting up bigger numbers than what he is. And I think a lot of it has to do with the offense that's being done in Dallas. They just aren't playing well. They're capable. They got the talent. But if they don't have any form or show any signs of life back this week, your nasty wide receiver combination at the start of the year is no longer nasty, is what I'll say. So I give it to AJ and Tommy, not by much. I don't hate the Kirk Cousins play, Josh, but I see that is the only QB on your team now. I don't think Richardson dropping that would have been a good idea. I didn't look at waiver wire. I probably would have gone ham trying to get Russell Wilson, and I don't know if I would have dropped Fields so quick. So, all right. Next matchup. Oh,
Yeah.
we got first place versus last place. And the projection is interesting as of what it is currently. So, Clark against Ryan and Mark. Ryan and Mark, who's in 12th place, is projected to win currently by 1 point. I know looking at this, I'm going to give it to Clark. I think his team still, could blow up a whole lot more than what it is. I will say I'm concerned about Hunt. He's probably going to play. I think the biggest question mark right now on Clark's team, if I'm just unsure, is playing Devontae Smith this week. I don't know, between him, if Smith and Higgins both get their projected score this week, I'll be surprised. I think you're good for one of them, I just don't know which one. Honestly, I think if I had Reed, I'm playing him every week. I would seriously consider playing Pickens this week too, if Russell Wilson's going to keep doing what he's doing. I think there's just way more stability with Clark's team versus Ryan and Mark. biggest thing with Ryan and Mark, they said, wait, you got a wide receiver and a running back on the same team. If they get any kind of resistance and they're not lighting it up, then you're going to lose. Little Josh is rooting for Ryan and Mark's team to do well because then his team is doing well. I'm gonna keep it simple as that. I think Clark's team is going to consistently score that 100, if not more. Ryan and Mark, you have to have a good week to score 100.
I'm going to follow up, and I agree. So the 49ers situation, you lost to not just key players, they are league-wide respected wide receivers. Who are you throwing the ball to? George Kittle. George Kittle, I know questionable. I don't know what his current injury status is, but he's got to be your go-to guy. He's always your, hey, we're 3rd and long, dump it off to Kittle, and he just comes out with a big play. That on top of red zone usage for Kittle, I think Kittle is going to be the X factor that really sends him over the top this week. Higgins, Addison, I totally see them getting normal numbers. Devonta kind of screwed me in another league. I wasn't very happy about that. I'm kind of losing faith in him. But Saquon is a beast.
Yeah.
He's totally like a big guy.
Yeah.
That I mean, who was he playing for? It was the Giants that absolutely did nothing for him. They didn't do any play calling around him. He fits in seamlessly with the Eagles' offense.
Mm-hmm.
They can make any running back look good
Oh, yeah.
right now, I think.
Well, and like we've talked about this on the podcast several times now. How many players have we seen they just need a change of scenery?
Oh.
And it's very clear in Saquon's case, he just needed a change.
Well, he needed a good O-line.
Yeah, but he got out of there, and he got to a place that was ready to give him that. So if you're willing to put the investments in to actually do these things and accomplish it, it's very clear that it works. Like, you know, I almost sit there and wonder, like, you know, we talk about Bijan Robinson in Atlanta. And again, are they properly using him? Because everyone thought he's going to be this feature back.
Changing the offensive coordinator, I thought was going to be a game changer for him.
Right.
And really it wasn't. Yes, he's putting up some numbers, but I expected a lot more design plays around his
we're seeing more Saquon-like numbers, CMC-like numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're not utilizing it.
Yep.
And also to flip back, Brian and Mark, so I mentioned Kittle being a huge target. They're starting Brock Purdy.
Yep.
If he's throwing anything, it's going to be to Kittle.
Yep.
They're going to have the immediate advantage. They're going to get the point advantage on that.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey hasn't done
Yeah.
anything,
Yep.
really. He's a glorified blocker
Blocking
distraction. Bijan, yes, he's putting up points, but Drake London might be the wild card.
Yep.
He's Kirk Cousins' saving grace right now. He's the only one that's really putting up fantasy numbers, that is. Darnell Mooney, he had his moment in the spotlight. Everyone went crazy. But for fantasy purposes, I like consistency. I don't want the guy that will give me 0 and then 40 the next week.
Yeah, he's
I
completely feast or
want-
famine.
I want those consistent points.
Yep.
So based on the inconsistency, I gotta go read for speed.
I'll keep it quick. I also think that it's Clark's team that's going to win, but I first want to take a second and just shame Clark for this lineup. I feel like that were I managing this, I could probably get more wins because I clearly can pick better plays than you, Clark. I was right about playing Tank Bigsby, and where is he right now? Sitting on that bench? Interesting choice. You also have Jaden Reed and George Pickens on your bench right now. I'm waiting for you to make some changes, buddy, because I am not sold on T. Higgins and Jordan Addison. I don't know. We'll see. But in the long run, yes, I think Clark's team pulls out the win. But I do think that if we're putting some mustard on it, as you will, I think that they have a chance to put up some serious points this week. Whether that will happen, I don't know. But there's potential on that team. That's just why they probably shouldn't be in last. And somebody who has a name like Porcelain should be.
So, before I do my screw it, I'm going to pick Clark. But with that water bet we made last week, kind of told you, didn't I?
Here's my problem with it.
When you're right, you're right.
Here's my problem with it. What you're basically saying is that you would rather have the 2 running backs on the other team than the 2 on
That's
mine.
not what I said last week. One of the things I focused on was Saquon was going back to New York, and he is going to blow up, exceed his points. Any given week, I would want your combo over what you win against right here. But last week, between the 2, I was like, they're going to score more than yours.
Between the 2 is not the correct way. You were banking on just one of them because everyone knows Tony Pollard was not going to do anything. He finished with 7.9 points. That's not like a great thing.
No, it's not.
Are those starter numbers though?
It's with what he is doing. I mean, he's not an RB1. For
it
some
was
teams,
one of
he
his
should be an
worst
RB2.
weeks.
Yeah. Well, he even says one of his worst weeks right there. So, expecting more from him than what
But
he
you
did
should
last
expect more from every starting running back. If they're not getting double digits, why are they
It's
starting?
Tennessee. It just shows how much faith I had in Saquon doing enough to carry all of them.
Saquon, who basically had almost the exact same game as Derrick Henry, finished like 1 point less than him.
Well, I guess
To be fair, Henry did have that 81-yard blow-up run because he was not doing anything up until that point. And he had Lamar Jackson blocking for him on that play.
But anyways, I got Clark winning this game. Ryan and Mark, I think you just have too many challenges to overcome. Man, you be rooting for Atlanta this year. That's all I can say. Yeah. Okay. Moving down to Ben and Steve. Ben changed your team name.
I thought it was appropriate.
You are the Injury Bugs.
Yep. I think it checks out, don't you? If we're going to talk about my team, I think we have to actually discuss the fact of, like, I had 2 starters in my lineup last week on Sunday who basically played 4 snaps.
Yep.
IR, out, questionable. I'm going to have to start counting on my toes. It's ridiculous. There's so much red. No wonder you're a Chiefs fan.
I was honestly shocked you could count that 5.
That's probably how many wins I'll get this year.
Oh, there you go.
Looking at this matchup, I know right now I'm going to pick Steve to win. You just have a lot going on with injuries. Godwin was a huge hit. Juju Smith-Schuster, that does hurt. He blew up that 1 week, and then, you might be able to get protection out of him again later.
It's possible.
But I think the biggest thing that goes on with you, if you have 2 more players that are currently set to be questionable that don't play, you will be struggling to put in a full lineup. You'll be able to, but it's going to be slim pickings, very slim pickings.
Yep.
And I'll also say with Steve's team, he doesn't have a QB yet, and then whenever he does, he'll be projected over 100.
Yep.
I'm going to give this the edge to Steve right now. I would imagine, I don't know, he might play Tua this week. Honestly, with him being back, that might be a big play to do.
That's my big question. Is Tua coming back?
Tua.
Well,
We really don't know.
Yes.
We really don't know if he's playing this weekend or not.
Yeah.
I think he's playing. Based on what Tyreek Hill said today, he's playing.
And that brings me to the 2 major things that I like about these lineups are interesting. So Jalen Waddle for Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Waddle has done nothing with Tua out. I'm a huge Waddle fan. I loved him in Alabama. He has a lot of talent. I don't know what his questionable tag is right now,
Yep.
but I assume he's game ready.
Yeah.
If Tua comes back, that greatly raises Waddle's production.
Yep.
On the flip side, Juwan Jennings for the 49ers, who is now going to be, I know I
The
mentioned
number
Kittle,
one.
but yeah, he's the only deep threat, and he has had some monster games. That would be huge. I think that will be a deciding factor. If Tua comes back, I think Steve wins handily. He still could win with Geno, but I also got to ding Waddle's production if Tua is not back. In this case, I do like Ben in some aspects. It's just the questionables. And is Kamara going to have another breakout game that what is going on there? He's one of the biggest producers for the Saints, and they're just not working with it.
Don't you worry about it. Let me tell you what you need to know.
If this was a Make-A-Wish, I want Ben to win. But I think Steve is going to pull it out and just smash your dreams.
Well, so don't you worry about Alvin Kamara. Let me tell you why. Because he just got extended today.
He did.
Yeah. So
His injuries are cured.
injuries are cured. He all of a sudden is ready to go. He'll be breaking out for another 30, 40-point game. Don't worry about it. It'll happen.
Is Carr back this week?
I don't
Good
know.
question. I haven't heard
I really
any
don't
news
know.
on Carr.
But you guys are right. Like talking about this lineup, like, yeah, there's a lot of injuries. Let me say that Godwin, that killed me not because of fantasy. I just really like rooting
You
for
root
this
for the
guy.
guy. Yeah.
I love the way he plays, and I love his skill and asset. Like the number of times I think I've told Cameron that I would love to see Chris Godwin get traded to the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
It would make me so happy.
I feel like he's just a glass cannon. Like every year he's hurt.
Maybe so, but I just feel like the utility, he's just so consistent.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that. So watching that, it was just heartbreaking. And the way the team kind of came around and, they're praying over him,
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that's the things I hate seeing in football. Like, to an extent, it's great seeing that kind of camaraderie, but I just hate watching these players get broken like that.
Yeah.
So, especially in a game where, they really didn't have any business at the end there.
No.
So, that sucks. But,
Coach's decision.
yep. And looking at these injuries, yeah, I told Cameron the other day, I intend to roll with some of it because some of them could come back fairly quickly. Juju's is a hip thing that he's been, a hamstring. He could potentially be back in a week or two. Debo Samuel is pneumonia, and look, being really honest, one of my guys at work got diagnosed with pneumonia last week, and we had to quarantine him for 2 days, and then after that, he's on meds and he's fine. So,
It's insane.
yeah, you don't know, but that's why I went and got Juwan Jennings. Like, one of those two is probably going to be on the field this weekend. I don't like some of the guys that I may have to play. Like, I've been kind of hating on Pittman for a while.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
let me just say, if I'm rooting for an injury ever, it's Anthony Richardson that I'm rooting for.
Bring me back Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco actually made some of those Colts players
Yep.
Relevant.
relevant.
Yep. But I agree. I think that, especially if Tua is coming back, yeah, I think Steve is going to pull out this win. I think it's going to be really hard for me to pull up those numbers with some of the people I'm playing right now. I really am just living and dying by my running backs right now, which I'm okay with. I told Cameron as much on that too. Like, I don't necessarily want to trade those running backs because I do believe that if I just sit here long enough, Pacheco will be back, and he's already running on treadmills, guys. Video came out 2 days ago, I think. So that recovery process is going to be quicker than we thought. And
I don't know. I've seen cats and dogs run on treadmills. It doesn't mean anything.
why are you watching cats and dogs on treadmills?
Because it's cute. Why not?
So, all right.
I'll say Steve. I say Steve.
So we got Steve all around, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I do want to point out with Steve's team that I think will be interesting, that could be a key piece for your team going down the road. The fact that Shaheed got hurt, Derek Carr comes back, Olave's looking a whole lot better.
Very much so.
So, all right.
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
All right. This next matchup, and before I click it, we got Sam getting downs versus Cam. Sam has the highest projected points for this week.
Because under new management,
New
new
management.
things happen.
So, Drew starts off.
Well, I haven't done my homework as far as if Sam did any waiver wires or trades. I didn't see anything, but I was looking over it and I'm like, how is this team in last place or doing so terrible? Oh, that's right. We all know the reason. So
I didn't get to make my normal pick.
Jefferson, Wilson, Allen, Hall. Okay, I hate Harris.
Yep.
I hate Najee. I'm not even gonna fight. He's got Chubb back.
Yeah.
That's a total game changer, and he's got him in the flex. I mean, the bench is weak to me. O'Dunn's, yeah, I wish he would do something, but Bear's gonna bear, and they're gonna not use their number one draft pick for anything.
It's actually
good.
a really good way of
Bears
putting
are
it.
gonna bear.
I am a huge fan of Leggett. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but
Yep.
Leggett for Carolina.
Mhm.
This year, I'm sure it's not his breakout year. Future, sure, if this was Dynasty, different deal. I would love to see some action out of him.
Yep.
But based on the other team, Caleb Williams, Bears going to bear. Tyreek Hill, hugely dependent on Tua. Where is Tua? Where is Tua? I would have Hill on my bench right now until I got the green light.
Well,
Why have him out there?
Well, what I will say is I know Cameron's going to bench him if Tua's not playing.
Yep.
So I think right now, it's from what I heard today, Cameron probably saw the same thing.
Cam's teasing us. I am amazed he has a full starting roster.
He has a kicker.
Dude, he
He
picked
has
up
a
a kicker
kicker.
off waivers a few weeks ago. I think he's set for now.
Well, I mean, they don't have any wide receivers in Tampa, so they must be kicking it 50 yards. I see McLaughlin putting up, 25 points this week, maybe?
Maybe 80.
I mean, the sky's literally the limit. Ingram's driving me nuts with his will he, won't he, boomer bust. Same with Harrison. Kyler's driving me nuts in Arizona. He's so inconsistent right now. He's literally running around like a short person. Where's my mommy? Where's my mommy? Where's my mommy? I'm just going to run for 50 yards and make my fantasy owners happy. I think that's some sort of collusion or something with Las Vegas betting. I don't know.
Yep.
Chase Brown, solid. Mooney, that's going to be a bust. I don't see Cam's team pulling it out. I think Sam will enjoy his first true victory this week.
Well, he won last week.
But I mean, based on the timeline, I don't know the timeline of when things happen. I feel like this is like, all right, it's actually his week. He had a chance for waivers, a chance for trades. Like,
fair.
He's happy with this. It's Sam's team, and it's Sam's win.
All right.
I think he brings up a good point here that we don't know a whole lot about how Sam's re-entry into the league occurred, which I'm going to go back to something I said in our Discord chat, which is I would like to start a task force and review the commissioner's actions. Steve, you are the perfect chairperson for this task force. I look forward to getting your notes.
Well, knowing Steve and his opinions on the whole matter, not to go too crazy and whatnot, it's going to be a quick review process. I'm not worried one bit. I could have done all the worst things possible as a commissioner, and I still would have gotten away with it because of how Steven feels about it.
Mitch could shoot someone in Times Square and get away with it right now.
Steve's like, yes, he could.
I posted that short video to kind of give everybody a rundown real quick as to what happened that day. And I've told a lot of people off camera and whatnot that I promise I'm more frustrated about the whole situation with Taylor. We did talk on Sunday. He understands. But I never would have guessed I would have done something in the middle of the season like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that shows at least the league how serious I take the commitment to this league. We've been doing this for so long, and it's important to me. I think I'm pretty sure it's important to a lot of you that this remains a competitive league. and that we're all taking it serious. We're having a lot of fun, by all means, but
No, question.
oh, I thought it was a high five.
I'll give you the high five here. There's your high five. But question.
Yeah.
You said you want a competitive league. Why do we let Andrew play?
You know,
let's get back to the matchups.
Put up some points and we'll stop talking.
Yeah. Then he has won. He has won once. That's more than what you and I can say right now.
Yeah.
I said something
All right.
about Andrew.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to agree with Drew. I like Sam's team. I think the things, I still have concerns of, the Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall on the same thing. But the rest of it, I don't like Najee Harris. I never will. It's not going to happen. But I feel like Sam's made some moves to where they are definitely a viable team right now. Getting Nick Chubb, I think, really helped put that team back on the, the play block, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But I think that helped a lot. And, I think just having competent and somebody trying to make changes and, play the team, I think just that alone makes it a little bit more viable than...
I'd also like to point out real quick, he is the second highest projected for this week out of the whole league.
Oh, he's projected the most. Same as.
I thought he was behind someone else.
I'm pretty sure he's projected the most.
But still, regardless, to be projected that many points demands some sort of respect. You have players that are capable.
Well,
I projected the most.
It is.
Oh, it's okay.
My bad.
It is,
you
but
don't count.
I'm going to throw a caveat in there, too, that technically Steve could.
Yes, he could. That
if
is right.
he puts in a quarterback. So,
That's right.
Oh,
that's right.
I completely forgot.
So,
good point.
But I think that all those reasons, I think Cam's got a pretty good shot, but I think that Sam's got a better one. That's pretty much how I put it.
So, I'm actually going to pick Cameron. And the reason why is because I do believe Tyreek Hill is going to play this week, and it's going to be a feast.
Well, of course he's going to play, but who's going to be his quarterback? And also, will he be stopped by security outside the stadium?
He'll do better if it happens. So
you're right. Get fired up.
Tyreek Hill, I think, is going to have a big game, and I do believe Tua's going to play. I know if Tua's not going to play, Tyreek will be out of that lineup. Cameron has Amari Cooper that he could float back in there.
Yep.
Now, one of the interesting matchups that I like, Caleb Williams. Gosh, I'm going to talk about the Bears for a moment.
Do you have to?
I'm going to.
Rivalry game.
Man, if Jaden Daniels plays this week, man, that would be game of the week.
This might be a full-on shootout.
It could be. I could see that. I will say, and the only reason why I'm going to pick Cameron, I mean, I do think he's going to get his projection, but I've been consistent. Now it's Sam's team. Not a fan of a wide receiver and running back on the same team. I know you don't have much of an option there. I think you definitely do have some trade bait on getting rid of either Hall or Wilson. But what I will say with the Jets, if they're going to turn it on, it has to be now, and it has to be against New England. They're getting Riddick back on defense this week, a little bit more time to synergize. And if there's going to be a team you're going to rebound against, it will be New England. So we'll see. I'm going to pick Cameron. I could easily see Sam winning this matchup, though. So I'm going to give the edge to Cameron barely by 5 points. So
how about Mitch with the word synergize?
It's almost like he works in a corporate environment or something.
Stop it. All right. Getting
Henry.
Last matchup, and then we're going to get into the hot ones. All right.
Because I'm clearly hungry.
You say that now. You say that now.
All right.
I'm on like my third wing in this episode.
This is matchup of the week. We got second place Mike against third place Drew. Drew, I'm going to have you break down this matchup first. Who do you got?
Well, as I said, I think Mike is poised for number one. I am absolutely terrified of this matchup. I got to give it to Mike, but with just a little bit of hope. So, Baker Mayfield lost his top two receivers. This works to my advantage, which I'm super happy about. And I also have Mason with the 49ers, so they lost their receivers. He's going to be an absolute workhorse, assuming his injury doesn't get totally inflamed and everything. But they're going to heavily rely on him. Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate season, that's great. I'm waiting to see with Zay Flowers. I know you guys have been dogging Zay Flowers, and frankly, rightfully so. He has not really produced. I wanted to go for the Wombo combo, but it's just not working. It's probably a mix because of Henry being in the mix and him being such a weapon.
Yeah.
I do not feel good about starting Keenan Allen. Absolute. He's going to get me 20 or 0. I'm still debating on that one. Chuba has been saving me. That's the only reason I think, aside from my CMC deal trade, that's the only guy that's been keeping me in the mix so far. My bench is garbage. I'm not to speak badly, but if Breece Hall goes down, I'm in an excellent position with Allen. I wish no harm to any football player ever. You hate to see it, but that is my standing there. Mike's whole roster: Jamar Chase, wide receiver number 1. McLaurin, he's blowing it up with Jaden Daniels. Dobbins is blowing up because the Chargers haven't really done anything. Laporta, that's kind of nothing.
He's
Very, very disappointing. But again, too many mouths to feed. I heard some news about Aubrey. Was that accurate news or
There's one I saw on the Sleeper app. He's on jury duty.
jury duty? Amazing.
The game is Sunday night. I can't imagine he'll be in session if that's however that plays out. I'm not familiar with jury duty, but I would imagine
Well,
he'll play.
for Mike's sake, I hope Aubrey has a very good lawyer that can get him out of this, because that could be the make or break for this game. I don't know. But I do have to give it to Mike in the end. He just has a very well-balanced roster. Mine are far too dicey. I could put up 70 points. I could put up 120.
Yep.
But I don't see myself going above that. And I hope it's a close game that I pull out, but Mike's got it.
Ben?
I'm going to take Drew. Simply for the fact of, number one, I don't like when Mike wins.
So this is an emotional.
How the
pick.
mighty have fallen!
I always have the problem of saying Mike winning, because I think that should always be done with a caveat, because is Mike really drafting the team, or is the app drafting the team? So Mike's app has a good chance of winning this week. That being said, I feel like Drew has some things going for him. If Kenneth Walker and Mason are both healthy to go, I like it. I think Khalil Shakir against Seattle could be pretty good, because everyone's going to be focused on trying to shut down Amari Cooper now. We clearly saw how that worked out for Keon Coleman last week, so why not Shakir? Not crazy about the Allen play, but let's be honest. If Zay Flowers is healthy, get Allen out of there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And it's really hard for me to bet against Lamar Jackson. I've never been a fan of the guy, really, but it's hard to deny.
I don't like the play style.
Yep.
But the man produces.
Yep.
He gets wins. He gets it done. I'm sorry, but when you have an MVP candidate blocking downfield
Yep.
for a future Hall of Fame running back, that man has the respect of his team.
Yep.
He's a captain through and through. He has the mindset. His coaches love him. What's not to like about
Right.
the guy?
Exactly. And throw
And
in,
if he helps me win a championship, I'm going to love him more than ever.
Sure.
I will not buy a Ravens jersey, but
But I will also throw out there, I love looking at kickers. And let's be honest, Justin Tucker is always a solid play.
beefy.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Drew's team, because again, one, Mike's app, I don't know it's necessarily the best way to go. But on top of that, too, I'm really hoping that Mike doesn't have a kicker this weekend. So, Mike, use your White Rabbit magic and suck it.
So this is a tight matchup. I see it's going both ways with Mike McLaurin. I mean, if Jaden Daniels doesn't play, that's going to negatively impact you. And then from there, you're going to be hoping for. I mean, I could see you flexing in either Tank Dell into your lineup, Algier, maybe even playing White. I mean, you have options, but you don't have a home run hitter, so to say, if you have to throw somebody else back in. I don't know what's going on with Laporta. Your running backs are fine. Drew, looking at your team, I hate your current wide receivers. Shakir, fine. I can handle that. I agree with Ben. I think you got to play Flowers if he can play, and hope that you get at least one or two big plays out of that. Jerry Jeudy, that might be an interesting pick. I don't know. I mean,
I was
Cleveland
back
might
and
be
forth.
even better.
I was back and forth between Allen and him, but still.
Your running backs love your running backs. It's crazy that Hubbard is doing good in my mind, but I think you definitely keep playing him. Walker, geez, he had a week last week.
Saved me.
So, yeah, I mean, who is it gonna be? I'm going to give the edge to Drew.
Yes!
Not by much.
Today in Suck It, Mike.
And next week, suck it, Mike.
To be
You
fair,
won.
I did
Anyways.
pick Mike over myself.
You did.
But
That's a little Josh move.
I mean, if I can dip into the little black magic,
Little black
and if
magic?
it helps me,
Yeah.
So, all right.
Oh, yes. I get to eat soon?
We are done with the weekly matchups. We're going to go right into the hot ones segment. So, with how we're going to do this, Drew, he will explain what wings we're going to be hitting. I know you guys can't see my wings. I got my own plate too.
we have a flats preference and we have a drums preference. I was kind enough to go with their
Accommodate,
wishes.
yes.
And by the way, if they're cold, I'm sorry you guys took so long.
We
with
did
this.
take quite a
It'll be
while.
okay.
But
I blame Mitch.
they're double cooked. If they get sick, it's because of Ben's wings that he's been
Which
snacking
I have
on.
not had any of those. So if we get sick, then there's
It
something.
was the contaminated Coca-Cola that he had.
It could be that.
Regardless.
So, all right. Before Drew asks the questions, we'll when do we want to eat just the regular first wing? Because that's just a
So,
wing. Or you got both
I
questions going?
did make an extra wing, so let's just call this a palate cleanser. The first one on your left, we are going from mildest to hottest. So some of these are homemade by myself, some are store bought. So this one, Kinder's Hot Barbecue, very, very mild, very, very sweet. If you gentlemen just want to do this one, I'll ask a question on the next.
Okay,
That works.
are we eating
This-
the whole thing or just a bite?
I don't care.
How are
However
we
you
doing
want.
this?
However hungry you
Well,
are.
I'm hungry, so I'm eating the whole thing. But if
Okay,
you
are we
want
eating
to
the whole thing on all of them or just?
I probably will. But
Okay.
if you want to do one bite, I'm okay with it. I'm just that hungry.
If you're gonna do all these wings and eat every single bite of it, then I'm gonna do the same thing.
Mitch, here's the problem. I haven't eaten yet today.
You've been eating this whole episode.
I know. I've just been eating shrimp and wings.
All right.
That's
Well, I'm just
there's no
gonna kinda-
lunch. There's no breakfast.
If I see you throw something in there, there's still meat on it. I'll probably do the same thing.
Okay.
On some of the hotter ones. This one I'm gonna eat the whole.
I'm
thing.
not judging. You
Okay.
just eat
So
what you
so
want
you
to
want
eat.
to go and eat the first one?
Yes.
Yeah, this is just a palate cleanser. Just make sure you guys are happy with the wings. It's very basic. It's
good
Kinder's
wing.
barbecue. It's a great sauce.
It really is. That's a good standard kind of barbecue sauce.
Yes.
Those are good wings.
They say it's hot barbecue, but I don't get hot. I get a lot of sweetness from it. They are double cooked, so they were baked and then reheated in the air fryer. I was hoping to get some crisp, but
I got some Chris. I'm happy.
on to the first wing and the first question.
And
First-
we start eating this as you're asking the question.
So yes, and first off, I will explain. This is another easier one. It is a lemon pepper. Personally, I'm not usually a fan of it, but it is very mild. It's very citrusy. To me, it's very salty. So, gentlemen,
Oh, I like that.
who are your Super Bowl favorites this year, currently? Changing it up.
I gotta say, Kansas City Chiefs. They're still rocking 6-0, and Detroit Lions.
Lions.
I
Man.
really like the Lions and what they're doing right now. They look good. I love when you can watch a team and just see that they're clicking and everyone's on the same page. Watching what they did to Dallas a couple weeks ago.
Oh, beautiful.
That was beautiful.
2 solid running backs. You
Yeah.
have depth. They have TJ Hawkinson coming off of IR soon-ish. We don't know. They have receivers minus Jamison Williams for
You said Hawkinson. Hawkinson's on Minnesota.
No, he means
or
you're right.
Hawkinson.
They got-
is-
Florida.
He's on Minnesota.
My
So-
mistake. But Jamison Williams just had the PED.
He had that
Yeah,
two,
so
games.
two-game suspension. But
You still have him on Ross St. Brown.
exactly,
God,
it's,
he's good.
it's a loaded. You like that one?
I do.
That was a good wing.
I'm glad you like that.
I like that.
Because, by the way, fellas, they liked it. It's only downhill from here. This is not a pleasure cruise.
I'm just sitting over here like, yes, give it to me. And we all know that like we're like 2 wings away from me regretting all of this.
Well, as long as you guys liked at least one wing, I will consider that a success.
I've like 2
So
already.
you have Chiefs and Lions. I'm going to say the same. Well, who do you have winning?
I'm gonna say Chiefs.
Chiefs. See, I got the same pick, except I got Lions. I know Chiefs are undefeated. They are a team that can overcome a lot. I'm going to say Lions still because they are playing like the best team in the NFL. Man, Jared Goff is going to make an argument for MVP too. I know Lamar Jackson's doing everything. Right now, I think the Lions are a more complete team. There's just a lot going for them. And if their offense gets going, like let's say we actually have that Super Bowl, if their offense gets going, the Chiefs aren't going to win in a shootout right now. That's so crazy to say about Patrick Mahomes. They will be healthier offensively by then, I'd like to think. You'll have, I doubt you'll have Rice back. Well, I guess there's a small possibility he might come back.
You won't have Rice.
There's
back.
talk about Marquise Brown being back before playoffs.
Technically, yes.
And then you might have Juju Smith-Schuster. You have Hopkins. There's going to be pieces there. But yeah, I would have a hard time picking anybody over the Lions right now. That's where I'm at.
All right. On to the next question.
Do you want to tell us what this next wing is? First?
So the next one is my own homemade buffalo sauce. It is kind of like
Give 'em more of that
kind of
sauce.
like a Cajun Tabasco, but it's melted butter, some seasonings. I did put some stuff in to try and give it a little bit more kick than your average buffalo sauce, but that one is homemade. And with the question, I would like to talk about how do you guys feel about the level of injuries in the league this year? It feels like we've cut back on concussions, but we're seeing a lot more gruesome injuries to the higher end, more notable players, wide receivers especially. Do you think that's any different than usual? Do you think it has to do with the changes in rules?
Well,
What's your thoughts on that?
I
Mitch?
think a lot of teams are just playing a little bit safer with some injuries. I'm looking at the Eagles for one with A.J. Brown. I think he could have played some of those games that he was out. I think just some players are being extra cautious. The Steelers were extra cautious with Russell Wilson. And look what he's doing right now. We have seen some pretty gruesome injuries this year, but if I look and compare back to last year, we had a lot of quarterbacks get hurt last year. And that is the most important skilled position on any team. Some people might disagree, but I think that is the heart and soul of your team is quarterback. So is it any more than last year or years past? I would say no. It just feels like whenever you're in the moment, it does feel like a lot. I don't know if there's any more that I could add to that. But there has been a lot of injuries.
Ben?
Yeah. Here's my thing. It's that, yes, we've been trying to do things to cut down on concussions and whatnot with CTE and all that. Like, you're taking more precautions on that. And we also have the new rule about drop tackles.
Yeah, or hip drop.
Hip drop, whatever you call it. And I just feel like I'm seeing more and more of those leg injuries this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to wonder if there's some connection to that or not. But Drew and I were talking a while ago, and I feel like we're also seeing dumb little things like more illness. You know, like they're out for being sick. We even said it a while ago, can't believe the number of people that I've heard who have pneumonia right now in the past month. Like, it's insane. So
We had a coach go out on it. Like,
There's so many instances, like, how are you going to catch that? Because not many people get it. And it's just spreading rampant, it feels like, anyway.
So I think that there is something to this thought that, you know, maybe we are changing tactics on addressing some things. And, you know, we have the new kickoff rule, you know, that format to basically cut down on some of those high hits, you know.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there is just more of those scenarios where maybe it's not necessarily so many season-ending injuries, but I feel like we're just seeing a lot more injuries, and it might just be they really are just being that much more cautious about it.
And my bias, just to put in my 2 cents, I feel it also might be because they're bigger name players.
Yeah.
So that brings
There's
it
big
more
numbers.
to the forefront. It could be the same. I have not seen the statistics, but bigger names attract more attention, so you think it's more just a little biased.
Yep.
On to the next wing.
So I will
This
say that
one-
last wing was pretty good. I could still feel the heat on my lips a little bit.
From when I tried it, it was kind of a slow burner, but
And I'd say that's about what I'm experiencing.
it's
It's
I would
there.
say
It's tingling.
I would say it's pretty on par with buffalo sauce.
Yeah.
This one is one that you guys may be familiar with. The Buffalo Wild Wings brand Mango Habanero, which on their list is a little higher up, but nothing too crazy.
It's not top tier, but it's not middle of the pack.
Flavorful.
Yes. I will be honest
The-
that when I do order Buffalo Wild Wings, this is one of the flavors I typically get.
Okay.
So the question with this is, the big news is the D-Hop trade to the Chiefs. How does this affect the Chiefs? Do you think it was a fair deal? Do you think this helps them, hurts them? What are your thoughts, Ben, on you?
So, I actually had a bunch of people this morning because the news broke this morning. And I had multiple texts about it this morning. And I expressed that I'm not that excited about it. And it's not that I don't want them or anything. It's just that there's nothing to me that says, oh yeah, instant upgrade, everything's going to be better. To me, D-Hops is kind of one of those guys who's maybe headed towards the end of his career. And I don't think that he has the big splash ability that he used to have when he was with the Texans. You know, he had some decent years with Arizona after that. Oh my God, that just hit.
There's a lot of sweetness to it.
But I don't feel like he's at that level, you know.
Not yet. Sure.
I feel like maybe he's missed a step. And now that's contrary to reports, like some people are saying, like, actually he's faster than he's ever been. I'm like, maybe, but he had 1,000 yards receiving last year, but what did he have the year before that? Like, nothing. The year before that, nothing. So I'm just not sold on it. But immediate effect, maybe not so much. Long-term effect, I don't know. If I'm judging off patterns with history, Kansas City Chiefs go pick up somebody mid-season before the trade deadline. Whoever it is goes and catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So there you go.
Mitch, your thoughts?
We'll say my tongue it's on fire at the moment. Me, whenever I saw that, I thought it made sense. They didn't trade for him to make 10 catches a game. I will say, having a player like that on a team like the Chiefs, you only need him to make one or two big plays over the game. and he's the type of player that can do that. He has the hands for it. Sure, he might have the speed, but the Chiefs, they're not playing those shootout games anymore. They're taking their time. They're trying to stay on the field as long as possible, keep their defense fresh and going strong when they're on. But yeah, I think it's a smart one. They got to do it. If they start sustaining even more injuries on offense, I don't know what they're going to do. But they have Patrick Mahomes, so I think either way they'll be fine. I don't think this was a need. Like, they absolutely had to do it. I get why they did it. But outside of that, I think he'll make big plays, but he's not going to get you 10 receptions a game.
I feel it adds more to roster depth,
Yeah.
which is desperately needed. We'll see how it pans out. Go Chiefs. Fingers crossed on that.
Last week has my nose going down. I reckon my pores are going to end up opening on this next one.
I apologize. I apologize for the next two then. So go ahead.
I was going to say on these next ones,
Yes.
these next set of questions are two questions I have for Ben. He has not heard these yet.
Okay,
And
I go first.
So yes,
I think you do one, then I do one.
Yeah.
Yes,
and then-
I would rather ask you Mitch's questions while you are eating the wing to really put you on the spot.
All right, so
But I'm going to kind of go a little back and forth on this.
or explain
So
that.
this one is
Should I
my hot honey. It is a bourbon finished honey
That is
with a
delicious.
picosa, kind of like a hot Mexican salsa, a little sriracha, a little curry in there. It is a hot honey. I thought it was going to be hotter than the other ones. The honey might offset it. But Ben, serious question. Of all the husbands in the league, whose wife do you think has suffered the most this year?
this year,
I assume it was this year.
This year of all time, it don't matter.
you know, I'm gonna be honest. I think that it's actually the same answer every year. It's Josie. Like, it has to be Josie because Andrew, I love you to death, buddy, but the number of times you find a reason to complain about your team, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but Josie already hates dealing with this anyway. Like, I've sat around through the years where Josie and Ellie are sitting there on the couch with us all watching football, and Josie, I can tell you the number of times I've heard, "I'm bored," several times. So,
We've all been there.
right. And, or my personal favorite, pay attention to me. So, I think it's clearly Josie, but that being said, I could make a case for Abby, but I don't think Abby suffers. I think she's actually enjoying all of it, like just taking sick pleasure in Josh, and then just going, "Josh, shut up." "Josh, do you want me to draft your team?" So, I think it's Josie.
Josie? All right.
Yeah.
Well, then, Mitch, on to your question. Again, the hot honey. Do you think Sirianni could or should be fired?
This season.
Thank you.
It all depends on how they finish. If I had to give you a guess right now as to how the season will finish, they'll make the playoffs and they'll flop, and then he'll be gone after that. I think the Eagles should take a serious swing at getting Bill Belichick. I think his personality will work really well with Jalen Hurts. I think that's where the key difference in personalities are at. I think between the QB and coach, you got to have that, I use the word synergy, going again. With that said, since the bye week, the team has embraced him better. They want Nick Sirianni to be Nick Sirianni. And they're not fighting it. They're just embracing it. I think that's the way that you got to go about it.
Wasn't he antagonizing the fans, though?
He was. Is that what I would have done? Probably not.
That's the way it is in Philly, though.
I don't know.
Look
Look at how they treat Santa.
Oh.
He's not real.
Worst
Explains-
case scenario, they win the Super Bowl and burn half the city down.
Right.
Maybe I'm hoping that Atlanta wins the Super Bowl then. Driving through there is awful.
But unless the Eagles make it to the NFC Championship game or further, I think he's gone.
Drew,
Unless there's crazy injuries or something like that.
Can I actually ask for like a little touch up on this one?
Yes, you may, because this one is our last dab, so to speak.
If we're gonna touch that one up, we might as well touch this one up too.
Well, you say that now.
This is probably a mistake.
I know it's a little dry.
This is clearly a mistake, but I will say that on hot ones, they usually do the extra dab.
They usually do the extra dab. Mix it around. Do what you will.
Mitch, do you want to go first
So-
on this one?
It don't matter.
Just so you guys know, I took this very seriously. This was a gift to me from my girlfriend Candace. It is literally branded Hot Ones. Their last dab, the last dab experience using Pepper X, the official hottest pepper in the world. This sauce is 91% made from that pepper. For this sauce, I did dilute it because I don't want a lawsuit. I did mix it with a little bit of white vinegar, some minced garlic, a tiny bit of ketchup and Dijon mustard just to try and get it a little bit more palatable. I kid you not, I had a fingerful and it's not great. It's great flavor, but it is hot. So,
Can I request another drink real quick before I
yes,
start on this?
you
You
absolutely
want me
may.
to go first? You want to see my suffering before you know what you gotta do?
I was actually trying to be nice.
I'll go first. It's fine.
It is kind of unpleasant.
Actually, I want to be careful.
Now, mind you,
here. Open it without the sauce on it.
I did not make you eat 6 of those. I feel like I played it pretty good with them. Ben was eating them like a champ, saying, I want more, I want more.
I'll be honest, that last one, I want more of it.
That last one's really good.
I'm very happy to hear that. I hope this doesn't ruin our friendship. You guys asked for this, and I have to give the people what they want. They want a hot one.
No, I'll do it. It's fine.
Now,
I'll go first. I think this is the
but
fair
I need
way.
to know. I need to know whose
Well,
question to ask.
we're gonna
and-
rock, paper,
So
scissors.
is it
go ahead.
rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Yes.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, I will go first.
Okay.
Because you won?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that?
Well, I mean, I lost, so I thought I'd be going first. Unless you want to go first.
Just consider it a stay of execution at this point.
I'll go first, but I am going to ask that Drew go and grab the pitcher of tea out of my fridge.
I will.
Oh no!
But I will.
What'd you do?
Did you
I went
not?
like that.
Is it
They
in your
told me
eye?
not. I did not touch
Do
the
not
eye.
touch your
I did
eyes.
not touch
Okay.
the eye. It was the bridge of my nose.
Okay,
I'm like,
well,
please God, don't let that
Ask
affect
him,
me.
let's ask him so that way he could just be ready to get something
So-
correct here.
All right. Is Mahomes the GOAT at the end of his career? Yes, no. Why not?
So you're saying when he finally hangs it
When
up?
he finally hangs up
Is
the
he the
cleats,
GOAT?
is
Yes.
he the GOAT? Why?
I think that he's going to continue on this kind of rampage that he's on. Oh.
I was waiting for it. Because you get a lot of flavor. So tell me about that Patrick Mahomes flavor. He's the GOAT, right?
I think that Patrick Mahomes is actually primed to put up a lot more numbers. I think that right now what we're watching is him finally having the yips. You know, you always have that kind of sophomore
middling.
slumps.
Sure.
And I think that he's finally hitting that. And usually the cause of that is, oh my God. Oh,
Please hype it up more for Mitch.
oh. So, I can't remember what I was going to say.
This is why I took it so easy on them for some of the earlier wings, because I know how hot this one is, and it is no joke.
Just getting it over with.
Oh my God.
It is a true last dab experience.
I'm trying to talk.
Then it's doing its job if it's choking you up.
Yeah. So I think that Mahomes is primed to keep putting up more numbers. There's so many records out there I still think that he can set. So I think about what total yardage is going to be like at the end of his career. Touchdowns are going to be like at the end of his career. And I think that if we are doing this thing where we're focused on health, they may be extending the longevity of his career too. So I think the potential to be the GOAT is definitely there. I think that he's making a good case already. And even Brady, when you're listening to him narrate the game the other day, he is breaking down these things to explain, here's what Patrick is thinking, here's what he's doing. So I think very accurately in this sense that at the very least, at the end of Patrick's career, you're either discussing both of them as potential GOATs and there's an argument, or Patrick is the GOAT.
All right, so Mitch,
Here we go. All right.
speaking fantasy football, which position is more important for success? Running backs or wide receivers?
Oh, boy.
Let's just call our given format that we've been using.
Oh boy.
Running backs or wide receivers? What is it, Mitch?
I'm gonna say wide receivers.
Why?
Oh boy. I think wide receivers have the ability to make a bigger impact than a running back any given week.
Is it because of upside or?
I would say it's because of upside.
To be clear, you did ask for an additional dab. I know it was soaked in there a little bit.
I would say it's because of.
I'm going to need that tea pitcher.
Because of upside. I can't answer this question. Let me finish this.
Just get it down. Oh my god.
Upside. It's more consistent. More bang for your buck. Less likely to get hurt. Longevity, if it's a dynasty league, a wide receiver is more likely to be playing at a higher level for longer years than a running back.
Sure. But in a given season, though, if you're not necessarily sure we're doing a keeper league, but do you really want to bank on a long-term career? You got to think running backs tend to get drafted so early over wide receivers. So why would you put wide receivers over that?
I would say I would put wide receivers over it as a whole because there's more top-end wide receivers than there are top-end running backs. If you get one of the top 3 running backs, sure. Oh, pain.
They agreed to do this.
I'm literally contemplating my life choices right now.
And it's like the tight ends. Unless you get one of the absolute top tight ends, that position falls off significantly. I think that's the same thing with running backs. I think if you get somebody like Christian McCaffrey, he was number 1 overall for a reason.
Sure.
After that, it dropped off significantly.
Correct.
We went a lot of wide receivers. We saw Breece Hall. The potential's there, but that team is dysfunctional. I can't talk.
You're talking so fast.
Any kind of movement.
Oh my god, I didn't know they had methamphetamine as an ingredient on here. No.
I might need that right now.
You're looking a little sweaty there, champ.
All right.
Oh.
Is that good enough to answer my question? Did I?
I'm totally happy with it. Do you need any dairy products?
Oh. Trying to decide how much longer we want this episode to go on while we're in pain. We'll say this. We'll let this play out for a few more minutes so you guys can at least enjoy our pain.
I'm gonna do something I think is gonna help.
I hope you're bringing me milk.
Nope.
Sherbert?
Sherbert.
Oh.
So,
Hey, Andrew.
yep, coming on through.
Woo! So,
So,
you eating out of that directly?
Yep.
Okay.
Mama didn't raise no quitter.
So, my follow-up question, what was your most enjoyable flavor? It sounded like the lemon pepper
That
was
lemon pepper one was
popular.
really good.
Number 5.
Number 5, the hot honey. You like the
I
hot
loved
honey?
that.
I would ask which was the hottest.
I think it's obvious.
It is quite brutal. You're welcome to more if you'd like some.
No.
Mama.
Like, I'm glad I did it, but that is by far the hottest thing I've ever had.
You can say you've kind of tasted the hottest pepper in the world, Pepper X.
A little watered down.
Well,
Apparently not.
not really.
I've done the Blazing Wing Challenge for Buffalo Wild Wings twice. Funny thing is, first time was with Sam Downs. We'll do story time here. First time was with Sam Downs at his bachelor party.
What were you wearing?
Regular clothes.
I actually think it's helping.
Well, I would hope so.
We go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Everybody goes to the table. I go to the restroom. I come back, and while doing our orders, and Sam's like, "Hey, you're doing the boneless wing challenge or blazing wing challenge." I was like, "No, I'm not." And then I think he called activation on me or something like that. Something with fraternity talk. And I was like, "All right, well, this sucks." Already did it. The crazy thing that was going on, there was like a big birthday party going on there too with a bunch of kids. They brought out a microphone and people were talking me up like, and in the blue corner.
The hype.
They did the hype. They talked me up. I did it. Man, Sam was laughing the whole entire time. It ruined my night. It was pretty bad. And then, sorry, I would have done better explaining that story, but I'm still in a lot of pain. Like, it hurts. And the second time I did it, it was from the tournament challenge. I had to do the Blazing Wing Challenge. And Bonnie Tyler is what got me through those wings.
You needed a hero, man.
So, to clarify, would you rather go through that wing challenge or have another one of these wings?
If it's just one wing,
Sure, let's just go with one wing
absolutely, I'd rather do that again.
over the
Over the
actual
blazing
full,
wings.
over the full wing.
Oh, yeah. Now, if you're like, you're either doing Blazing Wings, all those, or a full
or
set of
these.
these Blazing Wings, without a question. If you put one of each in front of me, that Blazing Wing would be a lot easier.
This one's clearly hotter. It might just be because of the heat, but this is gonna be sounding stupid. But the orange sherbet, I feel like it tastes more like sherbet and less like orange.
all I know is it's cooling my tongue for a moment, and then the tongue goes right back to the same fire that it was on before.
Yep.
It's very much temporary.
Hey, I'll take, like, if there's 5 seconds of temporary relief, it gets me like, okay, you got this, Mitch, until I'm back in pain.
I'm amazed neither of you have gotten hiccups. Do you usually get hiccups when you're eating spicy stuff? Like really spicy stuff?
You know, I think I may have gotten it once doing the Blazing Wing Challenge. I'm not for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's happened to me just a handful of times, and it was always on extremely spicy stuff.
I think that habanero one that you had from Buffalo Wild Wings, I think if I was eating a full rack of those, I might have started getting the hiccups.
Oh, I love that one.
But
It's one of my favorites.
just eating what I did, then no.
I will say, the mango habanero from Buffalo Wild Wings, like I said, I do order that when I go.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say the mango habanero sauce at Slim Chickens is better.
Is it spicier, more flavorful?
More flavor, and like I feel like you get a little bit more of that mango sweetness to it.
I got you. So I'm curious. So I made my own hot honey, and you said that was like your
It's by
favorite.
far my favorite.
It's good.
What did you like about it?
So I almost thought, like, my first bite, I was like, damn, that comes across like almost teriyaki like.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just a lot of flavor to it going on. Like the spice is there, but I think that because it had that much flavor, I almost felt like I had a break from the previous one
Sure.
eating that one.
And I was a little nervous because the honey I used, it was finished in bourbon barrels.
Okay.
So it's actually, there's alcohol in the honey.
Oh my god, we're drunk
And
now.
yeah, totally wasted. But yeah, picosa from local Mexican restaurants and some other things. But
I like
I'm glad you liked it.
that.
That one I was kind of the most nervous about because I was using some ingredients that I didn't make. So I was familiar with them, but I didn't know how it'd go over. I was going for kind of like an Asian zing, but it's more like a Mexican zing in this place.
My nose is running and like something's getting in my mouth. I think I can retaste that wing.
It's brutal.
It's pretty brutal. This thing is gonna be gone before I'm gone, probably.
It took me about 30 minutes from just a little finger touch for it to phase out. Because initially, and I noticed it with Ben, you're like, oh, it's delicious. Oh, there's a lot of flavor. Oh, I made a terrible mistake. And then it hits you.
Oh,
and then it does not leave.
It's still sitting there. Like,
Oh, I have brain freeze now, and it's weird right now. I couldn't tell I was gonna get it until I just had it. I can't feel the heat in
In
my
solidarity,
mouth.
if anyone's still watching at this point in the video, I am going to try a little bit. Delicious flavor. Delicious flavor. There's the heat. It's like a wildfire spreading across your tongue and then coating, and it's there. And it's gonna stay. There's no getting rid of it.
did you want a spoon for some sherbet?
No. I didn't eat as much as you guys did because you guys kind of did the last time. I was actually going to give you the option if you wanted some more of the watered down stuff, or if you legit wanted to do a dab.
Oh god.
And Ben, you look like you want just a little touch just to reignite the flame. Mitch,
No.
do you want to try just a little bit more?
So I do think what we're going to do, we're going to go and wrap up this episode. Please comment in Discord what you thought of this. If we should change this up a little bit, if we should do the same thing next year. Maybe we could get more people involved.
Different people involved.
Maybe different people involved. I think this was great. Gosh dang, my mouth is getting back on fire since I've had sherbet going. But Drew, I want to thank you again for taking the time to prepare these wings.
Absolutely. I had a blast doing it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed some of the wings.
I enjoyed all of it. I'll be honest. I enjoyed all of it.
It all tasted great. It's just my mouth is on fire and it's pissed off and
I really appreciate that. There was a lot of pressure and
I think
to just kind of perform on camera and
You
make sure
definitely
that
delivered.
You
the
delivered.
wings were okay. And I also didn't want to let the audience feel disappointed, like, oh, he's giving them all these underhand, soft pitch throws.
Oh,
and,
you hit us on that last one pretty
I
good.
knew the last one was definitely going to be a home run. It's hitting my mouth. It's really, just a dab will do you, literally. And wow, those guys know what they're doing.
So, but yeah, as always, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you all next week. Peace. Oh, well, my watch thing turned off. I gotta now walk to the camera with the bite of sherbet.
I thought I was hungry, but apparently not anymore.